Oh, good afternoon, everyone. Not afternoon for me, but by the time this goes up, probably afternoon. Let's just be blatantly honest with you. We're going to look at Plug Power earnings. Obviously, again, not a stock that I really do own right now. As you know, I sold out, but boy, am I not punching myself right now. Punching the air because this thing's up 15% today after reporting earnings. So let's talk about these earnings and what they have to offer for this company, right? So, obviously, you'd expect pretty good earnings if you're seeing a 15% increase. It did start the day down, but making some big resurgence. The whole market really is too, and a lot of that is renewable energy. Big stuff. If you talk about the most likely new presidency coming up that has pledged to focus on renewable energy, and Plug Power could be at the forefront of that. So, I think that's why a lot of these renewable energy stocks have been doing super well lately. But we'll take a look. Plug Power posted a non-GAAP EPS of negative 4 cents, a beat by 3 cents, and a GAAP EPS of a negative 11 cents, which misses by 4 cents. Nothing too crazy. Revenue of $107 million, which is up 80% year over year, which, by the way, is a massive growth number for this company. Massive. Which is a beat by 1.23 million. So, good. I mean, it's a relatively good beat if you talk about the perspective of what they're expecting as far as analysts are concerned. So, I mean, I think it's a relatively good beat. Nothing too crazy though. Adjusted EBITDA of $24 million, a positive. 2020 guidance of 325 to 330 million, which has improved from 310 million. So they actually boosted their guidance. And for 2021, they're expecting 450 million, and then by 2024, they're expecting that, which had already been boosted, a $1.2 billion guidance, with operating income of $200 million and over 20% adjusted EBITDA. Which all the way. Right now, it makes me think I feel like I made a mistake here. Ladies and gents, I think I did. Selling out of this. My spec stock, I sold out too quick, I think. Can't lie to you. We'll see. Maybe there's chance for some downward movement. I don't know. I don't know. So, let's see. Adjusted EBITDA margin of 19%, which is approaching the target of 20% by 2024 already, by the way. Pretty crazy stuff. So, gross billings increased 106% year over year, as well as the highest quarter in the firm's 22-year history. Oh, yeah. They deployed a record 4,100 GenDrive fuel cell systems and 13 hydrogen fueling stations, which is pretty big, reflecting a year-over-year growth of 130% for fuel cell deployments. That's pretty massive. The record growth aligns with Plug's target to have cumulatively deployed 40,000 GenDrive systems by the year end. Pretty cool. Yeah, I mean those are quality numbers. Yeah, really cool. And obviously you saw the raised guidance as well. We also have their investor letter to look at. Shareholder letter, we'll take a look at this too and see what it has to offer. So, as we see, they just mentioned some main things on here. They host the second annual Plug Symposium, showcasing strategic priorities in green hydrogen market expansion, Gigafactory, and reaffirming revenue and EBITDA guidance for 2024. Pretty cool stuff. And a strategic partnership with Brookfield Energy, which, by the way, is a company I hold. And signed an MOU with Lind to deploy pilot Class 6 and Class 8 vehicles on the road in 2021. Recent capital raise positions the company with over $725 million in cash. So as far as financials, we saw the numbers in terms of revenue. Pretty good stuff. You can't lie. You can't lie. The record number of GenDrive units deployed have logged over 600 million hours of runtime in the field and 32.4 million hydrogen fills performed. That's a lot of hydrogen, man. That's a lot of hydrogen, which resulted in 6.7 million pounds of CO2 removed in 2020. So again, it's talking about the removal of CO2 from the atmosphere, ideally, potentially protecting the ozone layer, which again, in turn, is supposed to reduce the impacts of, well, what we refer to as global warming or climate change. That's the goal here. So again, I'm very curious as things progress here to see how much this actually has an impact in terms of the quote-unquote path we're on, as is, because this is really an ever-expanding project here, and it'll take a while for it to necessarily develop. So I'm curious to see what that does. So pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, as far as the numbers here, nothing really crazy that we didn't cover already. So as far as the Plug Symposium, some of the main aspects are Plug announcing plans to build 5 green hydrogen plants in the U.S., working with strategic partners. First 2 plants with expectations of completion at the end of 2022, and the others by the end of 2024, with a capacity of 100 tons per day of freaking green hydrogen. That's pretty cool. That's a lot of hydrogen and what that can do. In the third quarter, Plug Power added Corinne Dubriel to the executive team as vice president and managing director. Europe. Corinne has extensive experience in the fields of hydrogen energy and renewables. Pretty cool, and e-mobility. So pretty big stuff. So they're talking about the EU is leading in hydrogen. 65 billion euros investment required by 2030 to keep up with hydrogen. Pretty cool. So it's a massive opportunity as far as what they could do there. So that's really their focus. And then they talk about guidance. The only thing I want to look at, obviously, is the balance sheet on this company. Total assets on this company right now of $1.5 billion is actually really impressive. It's really impressive to see a balance sheet in the billions for a company with such a small revenue, I got to be honest. And that compares to last December, so 9 months ago, when they had $771 million. So again, I do think with capital raise it'll be pretty close, but I'm curious what that number looks like. Total liabilities you see is at $883 million versus 635. That is mighty impressive. I do want to say that the amount in which they've grown this balance sheet and overall liabilities hasn't grown nearly as much as you've grown the assets. I mean, we're talking about stockholder equity up at 617 million versus 134 previously. That is a massive improvement in this balance sheet, and it impresses me. Now, one thing you need to consider, obviously, this is a company trading at a market cap of $8.6 billion when they're expecting an annualized revenue of $300 million. So you do need to consider that and what that means for you. And again, I guess that depends. I think if you think there's a long, really history of growth ahead of this company and the stock price, which, again, I do think they're on track, and I believe their estimates. I really do. So I do think that. But again, my concern is with the value of the stock and how much can this keep going if it's already valued at such a high level. I think it's a pretty high valuation in my opinion. I mean, you're talking about very high multiples of like over 20 times the market cap compared to what they're actually bringing in revenue. And really by 2024, they're only going to be at a revenue of $1.2 billion supposedly, and they're already trading at a market cap of 8.6. So my concern is how much run-up can there be? But I think there's a great opportunity with the stock, and it could go down big, or it could have a great time over the next 5 years. I don't know what to say. It could not move at all, really. So I'm not a buyer in this stock, and I sold off for a reason, because I didn't see that much value. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I still appreciate the 800% gain I sold off with. Not going to be upset about that. But overall, really hope you enjoyed this and you have a great day.